Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.
Radha Madhava Kunda Vihari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Jashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunda Vihari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Jashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna
जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राज काचार्य अष्टोत्तर सत्य श्रेष्ठ मध्य डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राज काचार्य अष्टोत्तर सत्य श्रेष्ठ मध्य डिवाइन ग्रेस श्री भक्त सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से गो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की जय। श्री वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की जय। नवदीप मायापुर धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा माई की जय। यमुना माई की जय। तुलसी देवी की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। समावधि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री प्रभुपाद ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय। इस्कॉन वर्तमान आचार्य वृंद की जय। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। Hare Krishna. This morning we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 1, Chapter number 3. Krishna is the source of all incarnations. Text number 14:14. ऋषिभिर्याचितो भेजे नवमं पार्थिवं वपुः दुग्धे माम् ओषधेर्विप्रास् तेनायं स उषत्तमः। ऋषिभिर्याचितो भेजे नवमं पार्थिवं वपुः दुग्धे माम् ओषधिर्विप्रास् तेनायं स उषत्तमः। ऋषिभिर्याचितो भेजे नवमं पार्थिवं वपुः दुग्धे माम् ओषधिर्विप्रास् तेनायं स उषत्तमः। ऋषिभिर्याचितो भेजे नवमं पार्थिवं वपुः दुग्धे माम् ओषधिर्विप्रास् तेनायं स उषत्तमः। Please chant. ऋषिभिर्याचितो भेजे नवमं पार्थिवं वपुः दुग्धे माम् औषधे विप्रास् तेनायं स उषत्तमः ऋषिभिर्याचितो वेजे नवमं पार्थिवं वपुः दुग्धे मां ऋषिभिर्विप्रास् तेनायं उषत्तमः ऋषिभिर्याचितो वेजे मां पार्थिवं वपुः दुग्धे माम् औषधेर्विप्रास् तेनायां स उषत्तमः ऋषिभिर्याचितो वेजे नवमं पार्थिवं वपुः दुग्धे माम् औषधेर्विप्रास् तेनायं स उषत्तमः Word for word meaning. Rishibhihi, by the sages. Yachitaha, being prayed for. Veje, accepted. Navamam, the ninth one. Parthivam, the ruler of the earth. Vapuhu, body. Dugdha, milking. Imam, all these. Oshadhihi, products of the earth. Vipraha, O Brahmanas. Tena, by. Ayam, this. Saha, he. Ushattamaha, beautifully attractive. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O Brahmanas, in the ninth incarnation, the Lord prayed for by sages. The Lord prayed for by sages, accepted the body of a king, Prithu, who cultivated the land to yield various produces. And for that reason, the earth was beautiful and attractive. Please repeat. O Brahmanas, in the ninth incarnation, the Lord prayed for by sages, accepted the body of a king, Prithu, who cultivated the land to yield various produces. And for that reason, the earth was beautiful and attractive. Purport. Before the advent of King Prithu, there was great havoc of maladministration due to the vicious life of the previous kings, the father of Maharaj Prithu. The intelligent class of men, namely sages and Brahmanas, not only prayed for the Lord to come down, but also dethroned the previous king. It is the duty of the king to be pious and thus look after the all-round welfare of the citizens. Whenever there is some negligence on the part of the king in the discharge of his duty, the intelligent class of men must dethrone him. The intelligent class of men, however, do not occupy the royal throne because they have much more important duties for the welfare of the public. Instead of occupying the royal throne, they prayed for the incarnation of the Lord, and the Lord came as Maharaj Prithu. Real intelligent men or qualified Brahmanas never aspire for political. Excavated many produces from the earth, and thus not only did citizens become happy to have such a good king, but the complete sight of the earth also became beautiful and attractive. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmritam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutavadakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavamsya Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले सरस्वती इति नामिने श्रीवार्षभानवे देवी दयितायितपाब्दे कृष्णसम्बन्धविज्ञानदायिने प्रभवे नमः माधुरोज्ज्वलप्रेमाद्य श्रीरूपानुभक्षिता श्रीगौरकरुणाशक्तिविग्रहाय नमस्ते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दीनतारिणे रूपानुगविरुद्ध अपसिद्धान्तद्वान्तहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्बरसाम्बोधे पादाम्बोजायते नमः नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगवरायते गौर आविर्भावभूमिस्तं सज्जनप्रियः वैष्णवसार्वभौम श्रीजगन्नाथायते नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यः एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमपदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरतृषे नमः पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तिशक्तिकं हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्ते जयतां श्रुतौ पङ्गोर्मम मन्दमते गति मत्सरस्य पादां भोजौ राधां मदनमोहनौ दिव्यदृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमादः श्रीमद्रत्नागार सिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमद्राधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेवौ पृष्ठालिभिः सेव्यमानो स्मरामि श्रीमान सरसारम्भे वंशीवटतटस्थितं कर्षणवेणुस्वने गोपिर्गोपीनाथ श्रीस्तनः तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. We are going through third chapter of first canto. Krishna is the source of all incarnations. 8 incarnations have been described earlier, and they are first is 4 Kumaras, our first incarnation. Second is Varah Dev. Third is Narada Muni. Fourth is Nar Narayan Rishi. Fifth is Kapil Muni, Lord Kapila. Sixth is Lord Dattatreya. Seventh, Lord Yajna. Eighth, King Rishabdev, which was discussed day before yesterday. And ninth is Prithu Maharaj. Today we are discussing. So Prithu Maharaj is considered also as incarnation of the Lord, and he is also considered one of the examples of one of the 9 processes. We have 9 processes, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. So he is also considered as an example of who have perfected or worshipped the Lord by specific one process. We have 9 processes of devotional service: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. So for each of these processes, one of the acharyas have exemplified that how just by doing one of these devotional service, Lord can be pleased or perfection of human form of life can be achieved. Just like for Shravanam, who is the acharya? Parikshit Maharaj. He perfected life just by hearing. Parikshit Maharaj for Shravanam. Kirtanam, Shukadeva Goswami. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. Smaranam, Prahlad Maharaj. Pada Sevanam, Lakshmi Ji. Archanam, here is Prithu Maharaj. Prithu Maharaj is exemplifying the process of Archanam or worshipping. Vandanam, Akrura. Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Hanumanji. Sakyam, Arjuna, and Atmanivedanam, Bali Maharaj. So Prithu Maharaj exemplifies how just by worshipping the Lord we can please him just by one process. And the story goes back, as the translation says here. O Brahmana, in the 9th incarnation, the Lord prayed for by the sages, accepted the body of a king, Prithu, who cultivated the land to yield various produces, and for that reason the earth was beautiful and attractive. And the purport Prabhupada says, before the advent of the king Prithu, there was great havoc of maladministration due to the vicious life of previous king, the father of Maharaj Prithu. The story goes back to the dynasty of Dhruva Maharaj. This appears in 4th canto in detail. Chapter number 13, 14, 15 onwards, they are given. So, dynasties of Dhruva Maharaj, later on there was a great king called King Anga. Now, Anga was very, very pious. He ruled everything, did very nicely. He himself followed dharma very properly. And his wife was Sunitha. Sunitha was the wife's name of Anga Maharaj. Though King Anga was very religious in ruling, but he was not getting any son. And he prayed for the sages, and sages came. They were performing some yajna. They were trying for Akshwamedhi yajna also, but there was no son. So King Anga, he was very silent, because that is how one is supposed to observe silence in the yajna. So he was maintaining silence. But when the oblations were being offered, the demigods were not coming to accept their share. So King Anga was very worried, and ultimately he thought to break his silence. Broke the silence and asked, very submissively asked all the sages present there, priests, that why it is so, that what is my offense, please let me know what is my offense, what is my mistake, what sin I have done, so that demigods are not coming to accept my offerings, my oblations. So the sages said that, seeing your history, it appears that in this life at least you have not done any wrong activity, even mentally you have not done any offense. So you are supposed to get son, but in the previous lives you have done some offenses, that is why some sins, that is why you are not getting son. However, this advice was given that you worship Lord Vishnu, who is the proprietor of all the sacrifices, benefactory of all the sacrifices. We hear in the 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. What is that shloka? Bhuktaram yajna tapasam sarva loka maheshwaram suridam sarva bhutanam jnatva mam shantim richati. Lord Vishnu is the benefactor and enjoyer of all the sacrifices. So if you worship Lord Vishnu, pray for him, then he will appear. And for accompanying Supreme Lord, the demigods will appear and they will accept your share. So as recommended, as mentioned, it was done. Lord appeared, and actually one great personality, celestial personality appeared, and demigods also came with this personality. And the king was given sweet rice, the palmful of sweet rice, which king gave to his wife Sunitha. Now Prabhupada writes in the purport that why it is so, generally because if the father is very pious, then the son also should be very good. But what happened is, the son who was obtained was named as King Vena, who later on we'll hear that who came out to be very irreligious son and king. Generally it is expected that when the king or the father is religious, then the son also should be religious. But in this case, Sunitha, who is daughter of the death personified, was coming from a religious background, a religious family. So the son was partially irreligious. And though king was flawless, but because of the queen's side, this irreligious son was born. And so Prabhupada writes that is why the Vedic system of marriage is that there is just not random picking up of wife, but there is arranged marriage, not like today's what is going on as love marriage. There is arranged marriage, means the boy and the girl, their character, their horoscope is matched. Of course, that is another topic altogether about horoscope, though it is referred to today. But one plus Srila Prabhupada writes, actually Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada also, he did not encourage horoscope much. But Srila Prabhupada also writes that my spiritual master was the great astrologer. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta was a great astrologer. he wrote that book Surya Siddhanta, because of which he was entitled as Siddhanta, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta. And interesting one place Prabhupada writes in the Vedas, it appears in the conversation. Prabhupada writes that though astrology is a great science, but my spiritual master was the last bona fide astrologer on this planet. After him there is no astrologer bona fide. And the science is great to a certain extent, people know about this, can be used in certain purposes but not applicable for us at least. So yeah, that was the reason that in marriage system of the Vedic times the horoscope was matched and then the marriage was done, and then marriage would come out to be very peaceful and successful. Then wife and husband staying together would serve the purpose of life. But here, though everything was fine, but this was the reason that Sunitha was coming from a irreligious background. That is why the son was born named as King Vena. Shri Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani ki jai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Now this King Vena somehow came out to be very irreligious, and because of Vena's atrocity or torture, the father Anga, he was frustrated and he left the home and he went to jungle. And then the detailed account comes that why it happened so, because of such and such reason. Now this Vena, who was small boy, he was so naughty, so atrocious, and he was so cruel that he would play around with his playmates, his childhood friends, and after playing he would kill them, the friends, just like they are like slaughter animals. And he would trouble people, he would do all kind of nasty activities, trouble people, harass people. And King Anga tried to counsel him, give good lessons that you should not do like this, but he did not listen, the son did not listen. So it happens sometime in the family life, the father tries his best to bring the child good children, but the child may not come out to be very good. But then Prabhupada says, quoting Chanakya Pandit, that the mother is enemy if she marries second time, and the wife is enemy if she is very beautiful, because she keeps the person bound in the material entanglement, attachment. And the son is enemy of the person if he is a foolish rascal. But then Prabhupada says that the son, if the bad son is better than good son. Prabhupada says like this one person in one perspective, because bad son will frustrate a person and that will become his impetus to take up Krishna consciousness seriously. And this is of course talking about the in general. It is an entirely different scenario for the devotees who are completely in the Krishna service, who are living missionary life. So another quote Prabhupada says about Chanakya Pandit, quoting Chanakya Pandit, says that Mata yasya grihe nasti bharya cha priya vadini aranyam tena gantavyam yatharanyam tatha griham. Prabhupada says, Mata yasya grihe nasti, one of whom a person of who does not have a mother, bharya cha apriya vadini, and the wife is not very pleasing, she does not speak very pleasing words. Aranyam tena gantavyam, that person should leave the home and go to forest and live in the forest. Yatharanyam tatha griham, for him staying in home and staying in his forest is all equal. So for a person like this, if the household situation is not very good, then he should take it in a very favorable way, that somehow Krishna has arranged this situation. Prabhupada in this section of when Anga Maharaj, he tries his best to counsel his son, but the son does not listen, and Anga Maharaj, he leaves the home and he goes to forest for tapasya, for devotional service. Then Prabhupada writes like that when Krishna arranges or unfavorable situations for a devotee, then he should take that Krishna wants me to take up Krishna consciousness very seriously. And Prabhupada had that experience in his personal life also, that when Prabhupada's factory was burnt, Prabhupada's there was robbery in his factory, in the business. His own son took away money and he ran away. Then Prabhupada took it as a positive sign that maybe Krishna wants me to take his full shelter. Another time also when Prabhupada actually did not, in the Leelamrit it comes that Prabhupada did not like his wife and Prabhupada wanted to get married second time. But Srila Gaur Mohan Dey, he said that it is actually good that you don't have a very liking wife. It is good that you don't have a wife which you like very much. By this you will be able to take up Krishna consciousness seriously. And so many more examples like this come in the history. And here is one more example of King Anga Maharaj, who leaves the home and goes to forest. Now, because of the absence of any king, the kingdom was in havoc. Because there was no administration properly, there was no ruling happening. So all the rogues, thieves, they started flourishing. The irreligious activities started flourishing in the country, in the kingdom. So the sages decided that we should come together and do something. So they somehow, with the permission of Mother Sunitha, Queen Sunitha, they installed or enthroned King Vena as the king of the kingdom. Now, though Vena was not a very qualified person, but that is how the lineage was coming, that is how the family lineage was coming. So Vena was enthroned as a king. Now, as soon as Vena is enthroned as a king, he became more powerful because he got the power of kingship, and he started misusing his power. He started propagating that king is the representative of the Supreme Lord, king is a pratinidhi. So one should worship the king, and all the paraphernalia, all the worships, all the yajnas should be offered to me, not to the Supreme Lord. He started propagating like this misinterpretation of the philosophy and misuse of the philosophy. And because he was a rogue in nature, so all the rogues started flourishing more. Now the situation was more troublesome. All the citizens were also harassed, and now the problem was bigger, that what should be done now. So all the sages came together again, and they thought that we will counsel King Vena. They came together and they were giving good advices. They told that we have come here to give you good advice, and they were giving all the good instructions that if the king does not see Supreme Lord in the heart of all the living entities, then he soon comes down from his position of the king. The king should be ruling on behalf of the Supreme Lord. The king is representative of the Supreme Lord, but he uses his power for propagating God consciousness and for making sure that the dharma is followed amongst the citizens properly. But if the king does not do so, then he comes down from his position of kingship. So you should stop this behavior of using the sacrifices and all other things for your own propensity, but should direct everything to the Supreme Lord. And when King Vena heard this, he said actually that you have gone actually in illusion. You do not know real Shastras, you do not know the real import of Shastras. The king is the king is the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he should be treated as good as the Supreme Lord. And he also said actually that you have become like a polluted woman who are not worshipping the king and worshipping the demigods. It's like leaving the husband, somebody goes to another person. So similarly, you all sages and the citizens have become like a polluted woman who are not worshipping king, who is real representative of Krishna, and who are going to demigods for worship. Now hearing all these things, the impudent replies of the king, the sages became a very high sound, and just by the high sound they killed the King Vena. It was just a humkar, the high vibration of the sound, and they killed the King Vena. So this is power of the sages. They have a lot of power, but they don't use it. It is said that when the sages use their power, their austerity and mystic power, all that is diminished when they become angry. That is why they don't use it. So though they have power, but they don't use it. Just like here in the purport also, Prabhupada says that the sages, instead of themselves taking the laws in hand, they pray to the Supreme Lord for solution. And that is how Krishna has arranged the Varnashram system, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. The Brahmanas, intelligent class of men, they have their duty to do. They, in the Patan, Patan, Yajan, Yajan, Dana, Pratigraha, they study Shastras, they teach Shastras, Patan, Patan, Yajan, Yajan, they do Yajnas, they teach others to perform Yajna. Dana, Pratignya, they give in charity, they accept charity. So that is their activity, they are intelligent class of people, and they develop their thinking. They live very simply, but they have very high level of thinking, and they think for the welfare of others. That's what Prabhupada is saying, that they could do so, but they had much more important activity for the welfare of the citizens, because they have much more important duties for the welfare of the public. So intelligent class of men, they do not occupy the royal throne. So here sages, they somehow, because it was urgent emergency situation, so they killed the king Vena. But otherwise sages, kings, they don't themselves impose things, they get things executed through the king. Some more examples come in the Shastras like this. What are some more examples? Sorry? Yes, Lord Ram, Vishwamitra and Vashishta Muni. When the sages were performing so many sacrifices in the forest, and the demons were polluting the sacrificial arena, they were pouring obnoxious elements, and they were polluting the sacrificial arena. So to get rid of these Rakshasas, the sages Vishwamitra went to Dashrath Maharaj. Now Dashrath Maharaj was not pacified, he was not convinced. So then with the intervention of Vashishta Muni, he agreed. So if the sages wanted, then they could themselves kill all the Rakshasas, but they did not take the law in their hand. Rather, they approached Dashrath Maharaj to get Lord Ram and Lakshman, their sons, to kill all these Rakshasas. And Dashrath Maharaj was very, very afraid that no, they are just small kids, they have not learned anything. How can they kill, how can they face Rakshasas? What to speak of killing, how can they face Rakshasas? But sages, Vishwamitra, he was convinced of the supremacy of these small boys. And being assured by the Vishwamitra Muni, Dashrath Maharaj gave, actually Dashrath Maharaj, as the name suggests, Dashrath, he could fight the 10 Ratha or 10 chariots. So like this is one example. Some more examples like this. There is example on the other side where the Brahmana, who is not supposed to fight but takes laws in his hands, just like Parshuram. Lord Parshuram, he was a Brahmana by nature, but when it was needed in emergency situation, then he traveled around the planet 21 times and he killed all the Kshatriyas, all the irreligious or miscreant Kshatriyas who were misusing their power. So in general also we should not take things in our hand all the time. Sometimes it may happen that we have some seva which is not happening properly, let's say. Now we may feel that I should get into it directly, and we may start suggesting aise hona chahiye, but we should go through the proper hierarchy, proper channel. We should go to the concerned person and then put the concern there. Otherwise, if we just keep spreading the, the impurity, you can say garbage in front of criticism, just everywhere, just keep speaking, this is happening, that is happening, this is happening. Only thing will happen is people will get frustrated from us and the task will not be solved properly. So when we see that there is deficiency, we go to the proper person and then present it there, and the concerned person will take care of it. And of course, if there is an emergency, if it's a big damage happening, then we can immediately take action. Similarly about Parshuram, yeah, we saw the example of Parshuram. When it was needed, then he took law in his hand. He killed the miscreant Kshatriyas. And after that, now after the king was killed, there was no ruler. However, Mother Sunita, she had preserved the body of King Vena. and with proper mantra power, and like today they have, what is that called as? Mummy. In the pyramids there are mummies with the proper chemicals and some things, the body is preserved. Similarly, Mother Sunita had preserved the body of King Vena. And now again after some time there is no king, so again flourishing of the rogues and problems started arising. Now when sages one day were roaming around, they saw that there is a huge amount of the dust which is flying in the sky. And upon inquiry it was known that these are the great sages and rogues who are running around and troubling people, attacking the innocent. Seeing this, again the priest, the sages, they thought that again we will have to do something. So what they did is they brought the body of King Vena and churned the body of King Vena to bring out one boy. The next dynasty has to continue. So next member of the dynasty was to be brought. So they churned the body of King Vena, and from the churning of body of King Vena came out a small boy whose name was given as a Bahuk, or he was also called as Nishad. Now he was very dwarf boy, small limbs of the body, blackish in color like crow, and he did not know anything. He was very innocent. So he appeared and he did not know anything. So he was inquiring from people, what should I do now? What should I do? So Narad Muni called him, okay, you come on, sit here, sit down, just sit down. Then he started taking some responsibilities, but soon sages churned the body of King Vena again, the left and right hand of the body of King Vena, and from the left and right hand of King Vena came out the two celestial personalities, and that was King Prithu Maharaj and Mother Archi. These were, King Prithu was incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Mother Archi is a representative of the Goddess of Fortune herself. And then there was some hope for people that now such a great king has appeared, and now when Prithu Maharaj has appeared, all the celestial personalities have come to welcome the welcoming or the coronation of the great incarnation of the Lord. So many different demigods are coming and they are giving different gift articles to Prithu Maharaj. Varuna comes and he gives umbrella, and so many different demigods come and somebody comes and gives the throne, golden throne, somebody comes and gives the horse, somebody like Yamaraj comes and he gives the weapon for ruling properly, ruling very strictly. Like this, so many demigods are coming and giving him different gift articles. So this is how he is welcomed. So this is the supremacy of the Supreme Lord. When he appears, so many gifts come like this. The best of the demigods gives best of their possessions to the Supreme Lord. Similarly, Vamandev also, when he appeared, all the best gifts were given. But when any living entity in this world appears, then not much pompous arrangement is done. So that is that is the supremacy of the Lord. Now when King Prithu appeared, then there was great hope for all the citizens that now we will have peaceful life. So Prabhupada says there, monarchy is better than democracy. When such a great monarch exists, then because he himself is trained from the childhood to become such a influential, powerful person, the king is more influential than any most powerful rogue or thief also, or the mafia also. The king is most powerful person. And when such a strong monarch exists, then nobody dares to do any wrong activity, miscreant any activity. Few days back I was hearing in one lecture of his, Chris Sarvabhauma Prabhu, he was mentioning that the king in the earlier time was at least 30 times more intelligent and powerful than any ordinary citizen. 30 times more intelligent and powerful, strong than any ordinary citizen. Not little bit, 30 times more intelligent. So this is how they are trained, that they are very shrewd in their decisions, they are very strong, very powerful, because right from childhood, as Prabhupada gives example many times, that when Prabhupada is writing this purports, Prabhupada says that even till date right now also kings of Jaipur, they are trained that they go to jungle forest and they With their sword, they fight with a tiger and lion, and they develop their strength, they develop their courage just by killing tiger or lion just with their sword. And they get this what do you say, the skin and the skull of various animals, and they put in their homes. Earlier I did not know, earlier when pre-Krishna consciousness, when I saw movies, then there was in the homes, in the Haveli, there would be a deer ka head and the tiger ka head, tiger skin. So I used to get surprised why all these things, how all these things create decoration. It is head of a dead body, how this creates decoration or the ornament. But then later on when I read Prabhupada's purports, then I understood. That signifies that the king or the person is such a great that he has fought with the king, with the lion and tiger. He killed the lion with the sword, and that was his victory. So this is a semblance that such a great person he was. So like this Prabhupada says that in the till date also the kings of Jaipur, they would go and kill the tiger to increase their Kshatriya power. So that is the power of a monarch. They are not like Prabhupada says that nowadays when there is fight happening, there is in the wars, the king, the leading person sits in some bunkers or some AC office somewhere. But that was not the time earlier. The king would be the first leading person in front of the army. He would lead personally. So that was the Vedic culture. It was very glorious, and such monarchs existed that when such monarchs, just by their presence, people would fear in their heart, and nobody would dare to do any wrong activity. Just like Prithu Maharaj's example is given here. Nobody would do wrong activities, that if anybody does anything, just like if somebody does robbery, thievery, then the king would personally chop off the heads of this person, and just by seeing this he would invoke fear in the hearts of people, and nobody would dare to do it again. And not only by fear, but king would see all his citizens as their children, and lovingly he would take care of the children also. And just like sometimes the king would go incognito to see around what is happening, and he would interact with people. Similarly, Parikshit Maharaj, he also was roaming around, he was on patrolling what is happening, and he sees the Kali personified. He was punished, and he protected Mother Cow, Mother Earth actually, who was in the form of a cow, and the bull Dharma. Very nicely took care, and punished on the other hand the king Kali personified. So this is how the strong monarch is. He knows taking care of his subjects like children, and he also knows punishing people. Expertise. Such great monarchs existed. Prabhupada says in some Gulf countries, even now the system is, I don't know currently, but sometime that if somebody does any wrong activity like robbery or rape, then he is hanged in front of everybody, and then he is pelted stone upon, and in front of everybody throws stone at this person and then kills him. That is punishment. So when everybody sees such a horrible act, such a horrible punishment, in the future nobody would dare to do anything like this. So that great the kings and monarchs were. Parikshit Maharaj example comes, Yudhishthir Maharaj, such a great kings. Then Prabhupada gives example, the last Raj Rishi was Shivaji Maharaj. Such a great influential king that just by his influence he could stop the influence of the foreign rulers spreading further down south, just single-handedly. Such a king that even Mughals would come and become allies with him. If he sees Shivaji Maharaj's fort sometime, he has masjid also there on the forts. He would take care of everybody. And such a shrewd kings. Shivaji Maharaj, one story comes was when Shivaji, I don't know the name of the ruler, one Muslim ruler, he had come and he wanted to embrace Afzal Khan. He wanted to embrace Shivaji Maharaj. So there was this meeting, nice arrangement was done, welcoming was done. But Shivaji Maharaj knew that there is some mal intention. So he had wore some tiger nails or something in the hands. Shivaji Maharaj had done this tiger nails in hands. He embraced and killed the Afzal Khan. something like this. So very shrewd they are, they can figure out what is happening. And similarly, I don't know if it was the same Shivaji Maharaj, he was he was imprisoned and then he came out in the cart of the fruits or something, Aurangzeb. So they are very, very shrewd, very strong, such strong monarchs. And Prabhupada says that happened because there was system of training from childhood. And the training was such that right from childhood it was known that he is going to become the king. So right from the childhood such kind of training, such kind of treatment was given, everything. So that in the blood it comes, just like a Dhruva Maharaj example also comes. That feeling was given. Similarly, in the Rajasthan, so many kings were so influential, so powerful. That is why all the deities, when in Vrindavan they were being attacked by Mughals, they were taken in the protection, under the protection of the kings of Jaipur, Rajasthan. They were very powerful, they were very strong. But at the same time, they were very obedient to the Brahmanas. They would hear to the counsel of the Brahmanas and they would rule, they would take their decisions exactly as per the counsel and advices given by the Brahmanas, the sages, the spiritual master. So it is something like this: if the king is very powerful, it's very good, but if he does not have the channeling, then it creates havoc. Just like here example of King Vena, very powerful, kingship is given, became very powerful, very strong, but he did not listen to anyone, he did not listen to any good counsel or advice by the Brahmanas and sages. Then the outcome was he was killed, he created havoc for the citizens. Just like the dam water. The dam water, so much strength is there, it has ability, if it is properly channelized, then it can be channelized to, for irrigation purpose in various tunnels, and fishery can be done, the boating can be done, electricity can be produced, so many good uses can be done. But provided that so much of force of water is restrained, that water agrees to be restrained. But if it is not restrained, just if it is let be flown as it wants, then it creates havoc in the form of flood. Similarly, the elephant, a few days back we were hearing from His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu. Elephant also is similar, that it's so much nice can be done, he can do so much of nice work and hard work, he can, as a symbol of opulence. Various processions he is taken, he can be used for procession of the Lord. The same elephant becomes mad, doesn't listen to the person, then he is killed. So similarly, Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki jai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Similarly, the king, he may be very powerful, righteous, intelligent, everything, Kshatriya, but if it is, he is not channelized or is not guided, or though guided but he doesn't take counsel from the Brahmanas, then he creates just disturbance for the society. And that is applicable, it's not that only in Vedic times, now also Prabhupada wanted this Varnashram system be re-established. So Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, it exists all the time. Even now also there is an intelligent class of men, there is military class of people, there is a productive class of people, and there is liberal class of people. So there is all kinds of people, but they all have to work under the proper guidance of the Brahmanas and the superiors and priests, spiritual master. Then there can be nice structure, everybody can work on its own role, and then everybody can go back to Godhead. So it's very important for us also. We might be very qualified in future, we may get some service, but that I can do nicely. We have to hear about hear the counseling and advices. And after that, when King Vena was killed, then Prithu Maharaj came. Prithu Maharaj started ruling the kingdom. Now the problem was, that time Mother Earth was not producing any yield. She was not producing any produce. So Maharaj Prithu, he went with his bow and arrow and he started running behind Mother Earth, who had taken shape of cow. She was running all the places and chasing her. Prithu Maharaj went to punish her, to chastise her with his bow and arrow, and he was running behind all the time. But at one point of time, Mother Earth, in the form of cow, shaped as cow, she took shelter of Prithu Maharaj, and Prithu Maharaj was about to kill her. So there may be question that why a cow can be killed, but then there a sloka comes that one may be a man, innocent man, woman, or important eunuch. But if they work only for the selfish purpose, creating trouble for others, then they should be killed by the king. So with this reason, King Prithu was about to kill Mother Earth cow, chastise her. But she took shelter and she pleaded, at least listen to what I am saying. Then King Prithu heard. The reason Mother Earth gave was because before you, the king was very unrighteous, very irreligious. He was not ruling very properly, and as a result of that, all the rogues had come up, had risen, and the non-devotees were using all these yields from or the products of the earth. That is why I have hid all my resources and I am not giving out. So the vegetation, all the minerals, all the resources what we see in the society, in the earth, which we get from the earth, it is given according to the usage of person. If people use it for a good purpose, then Mother Earth will produce in abundance. But if it is not used in a proper purpose, if it is used for sense gratification, for exploitative purposes, then Mother Earth will stop giving produce. And we have current situation when people go so much materialistic, they misuse the products or the resources of nature for own purposes. Then there is scarcity, and the solution is that not that population control or something. Prabhupada says that why people say population control, why cannot they control their senses? Krishna has ability to maintain 10 times more population, and even in Prabhupada, according to survey, Prabhupada says that the current earth has the ability to feed 10 times more population than the current population. It is just that people are using so much of earth for tobacco production, cash crops production. But the earth has ability to produce and maintain so many 10 times more population. It's just that people are not sense controlled. On the other hand, they want to use the resources of nature, farming land for wrong purposes like cash crops or tobacco, such affine, such wrong purposes. That is why Mother Earth is not producing. So when we do Sankirtan, actually we are supporting rains. Of course, by Sankirtan, the rains come, and by rains, grains come. So that we are also supporting. But when we do Sankirtan, when we are increasing the religious activities, we are directly inducing Mother Earth to produce the produces or the products. The Sankirtan Yajna is so powerful when we go everywhere. It's like we hear about Hyderabad's example of Prabhupada. When Prabhupada went to Hyderabad, there was no rain, and people came and requested Prabhupada, Swami, to do something so that the rains come out. And Prabhupada instructed his devotees, his disciples, that go and do Sankirtan, non-stop Sankirtan. And the devotees did non-stop Sankirtan for a long time. And then immediately rain started pouring after so long time. And there was a headline news that Hare Krishnas bring out rains or something like that. Hare Krishnas bring out rains. So there are some things we see in this shloka. One is that the monarch has to be very well trained properly, and even in the skills and abilities, qualification, if he is trained, but he has to adhere to the counsel and advices of the superiors, of the Brahmanas, who are the topmost class of the society. We also saw that though the king gets the position, but he does not utilize for his personal purposes, personal gratification. But if he does that, then he creates havoc in the society. It's like King Vena is the example. Also, around 1,000 years back, what had happened, the collapse of the Varnashram system, that was because of this. The Brahmanas fell down in their occupation, in their duty, and Kshatriyas also became more opulent and so to say they used their power for personal gratification. They forgot the real duty. And then we say the whole collapse of Varnashram system since the last 1000 years. So if we are also given some service like this, we should remember the motto that it's given as a skill, as an ability by Krishna for some purpose, and as a skill which is separate from me, can be taken away any time. I have to just use it in the service of Krishna. Maybe any possession which is given to us, any article given to us, or any ability given to us, any power or post given to us, it is just for the purpose of serving Krishna, and it can be taken away at any point of time. So we have to utilize in Krishna's service. And yes, Prabhupada wanted this monarchy again coming, the Varnashram system coming, so that the ruling can be proper. We also saw that the sages, they did not take the position of the king, they did not occupy position themselves, rather they prayed to the Supreme Lord, and that is the structure of Varnashram system. Everybody there does their duty as is assigned. And Mother Earth produces the products as per the usage or utility done by the consumers. If the non-devotees use it for wrong purpose, then Mother Earth will stop producing, and on the contrary, if everybody uses for proper purpose, then Mother Earth will produce abundantly. So that is the great incarnation of King Prithu. One another episode comes in the life of King Prithu or Prithu Maharaj is Ashwamedh Yajna. When he was performing Ashwamedh Yajna, Ashwamedh Yajna is a sacrifice declaring the supremacy of that person, that he is the most powerful person. And King Prithu had arranged everything for performance of Ashwamedh Yajna. Now he did 99 Ashwamedh Yajna, 98 he did, and he wanted to do 100 Ashwamedh Yajna. So he had completed 98 very successfully. Ashwamedh Yajna means the king sends the victory horse around the planet everywhere, and everybody accepts that, okay, we accept the subordination of this king. And if somebody does not accept subordination of the king, then he has to capture the horse and he has to fight with the king and prove his strength. And if he is defeated, then the Ashwamedh Yajna doesn't go ahead. But the king defeats like this every king, and then the victory horse, he is sacrificed in the fire sacrifice. Of course, that is also not animal killing. There is a rising of the animal who is being sacrificed. He gets the next body as human life immediately, right in front of everybody's eyes. So King Prithu had arranged this after completing 98 Ashwamedh Yajnas. He was doing 99th, and he had completed 99 also, and he was doing 100th. But King Indra, who is the king of heaven, he was alarmed, he got insecure, because anybody who performs 100 sacrifices, Ashwamedh sacrifices, he gets the position of the king of a heaven. And Indra, anytime anybody does any tapasya or sacrifices, he gets insecure and he comes and disturbs. It's like a few days back we were hearing about Nar Narayan Rishi. They were sent, when they were doing tapasya, they were sent Kamdev and Rati for disturbing them. Similarly, here also, King Indra personally came and he stole the horse which was kept for sacrifice, and he was taking away. And the son of Prithu Maharaj, what is his name? Vishwajit? Son of Prithu Maharaj, I don't remember the name. Son of Prithu Maharaj, he saw that King Indra is taking away the horse. So as a responsible son, he went and fought with Indra and he brought the horse back. But now again Indra was very agitated. So he came now next time in the form of, in the garb of a sage. He took on saffron robes and he came in the disrobed as a, disguised as a sage, as a sannyasi, and he tried to steal the horses. And seeing that he is a saffron robed sage, nobody tries to attack him. But his son, Prithu Maharaj's son, he understands that he is King Indra, he is cheating people. So he goes again and fights. Again King Indra leaves the horse and he runs away. But again he comes in another form of sage. So like this, many pretenders sadhu, that is how pretender sadhus started coming up in the world, because they took the example of King Indra. But what happened is, when this fight was going on, in the all the friction and all the problem, now all these things were coming. So Brahmaji comes, and Brahmaji, he asked Prithu Maharaj, why you want to do this 100 sacrifices? Because of this activity going on, King Indra is coming, and he is taking so many of different cheating pretender sadhu vesh, and people in the future, they will take this as an example, and they will also take up wrong occupation. Wrong people will take right occupation of a sadhu. So please stop this. And King Prithu very easily, very peacefully just accepted that, fine, if you say, I will not do 100th yajna. And then King Indra was also pacified, both were pacified. So in our life also it may be like this, that there can be a situation. This shows the King Prithu's the glory. Such a powerful incarnation of the Supreme Lord. Interesting, incarnation of the Supreme Lord, still he accepts the advice of Brahmaji, who is a living entity. So this is how the universal management becomes peaceful. Sometimes we might be in some task, and we might be told that you stop this activity. We should just peacefully stop the activity, because we are advised, keeping aside all the logical reasons. Now King Prithu could have said, oh, 99 are complete with so much of efforts, 99 are very successfully done, just one. And King Indra, he is taking wrong means, why he should do, I am on a righteous path, King Indra is on a wrong path, I am on right side. He could have put all the arguments, but Prithu Maharaj says no, he kept aside all the arguments. Being the incarnation Supreme Lord, he has best of the arguments to present. But he did not present any of them, he just kept all this thing aside. Just because Brahmaji said, he just accepted the advice. This is in our life, it may happen sometime that we are in some seva, some service somewhere, and we might be told that now your seva is changed. So we just accept it because it is told, because it's good for the whole community at large, society at large, and it is good for myself also. Apparently maybe defeat of myself, but who knows, Krishna is arranging a better arrangement for us, much better apparently. So that is a great example of Prithu Maharaj, how he sacrificed his, he kept aside, he agreed not to do 100th sacrifice, accepting the advice of Brahmaji. So that also shows his detachment as the Supreme Lord, one of the opulence, one of renunciation or vairagya, that also shows his vairagya, and obedience to the universal authorities. So this is something about Prithu Maharaj, and he was such a great ruler that he flourished everything. He personally tilted the land, and he revived the agricultural produce. Not only that, agricultural production started again, but also the earth became very beautiful. He leveled the earth. Sometime it was down, sometimes there were huge structures. So Prithu Maharaj personally leveled the earth, and then he churned the mother earth in the form of cow, and then different things came out. And then there is a description further, we can read in detail in 4th canto, that how the poison came out, then that was accepted by all the poisonous snakes and others, and the lion, he accepted the strength, and the sages, they got the Vedic hymns and mantras back. So everything was given back to everybody. Ideal example of a ruler, a leader, a king, Lord Prithu Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. If there is any question, you can take one question. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय।